bounces the computer.
Okay.
Just a heads up. All right, we're live. So we're here. Welcome. We got Eric Meyer in studio. Welcome. Glad you're here. We had a good time this weekend.
Awesome.
Awesome time. Guys, if you can hear us, give us a like, tap the wow button, the wow face. Let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're watching from this evening and where you're going to be at the racetrack next. Where are you watching from? Where are you going on track next? Hopefully it's NCM this weekend.
It'll be a good weekend.
We'll see you at the
I don't
track.
know what the forecast is. We'll find out.
We'll find out when we get there.
Yeah.
Usually good weather in Kentucky in the fall.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see.
Yep,
How's that track in the rain?
Good. It has a little Z axis, right, going up and down that can be hairy in some high speed areas. But for the most part, you're good. You get the car pointed straight. If you have a bad day, a bad moment, you're good.
Yeah. We had Matt Busby on the show. I had a phone call with him. And
Matt's killer.
He's awesome. He had some really interesting things to say. And the turns that he emphasized were just totally different from what, having that, like we found out this weekend, you coming down being from, the mid-Ohio home track, coming and kind of playing in my sandbox for the weekend and seeing what kind of things I did at Barber, right? Kind of a good example of that. And
There's a statue of Rains when you first get into Barber. It's a big bronze Rocky statue. If you're really old and you don't know Rocky, that's a movie that was in my youth. Anyway, forget it.
That's totally true. You guys should check that out. That's the same as the one they have in Mid-Ohio for you, though.
Yeah.
Except it's in the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh,
which I thought was kind of weird.
Oh, that was cold.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Let me just do this right here.
So we got to drive the M4.
You want to talk about lap compare?
Yeah, we're gonna do a data lap comparison in Eric's 2016 M4.
You want to set it up?
Let's set it up. So 2016 M4.
Came down to a PCA event at Barber, had a free weekend. You told me you were in the classroom, and I was like, good. You said, hey, man, I would love your feedback. You and Doug, you're taking over as a classroom instructor.
Yep.
And
official classroom instructor for Alabama Region Porsche Club. So if you guys come down and run Group 1 with us, you might see me next year.
He's excellent, I must admit. So got involved and did my normal leading questions in the classroom, throw that dog out there.
Yep.
And continue the conversation, weave it in with everybody. And brought a car down here to sort out and ask you to drive. I drive, you drive, I drive back and forth. And the idea was I'm looking for feedback of the car. We're looking at data. I'm looking for your hot super trick tips. Hey man, put the car right here. And I'm like, what? Right? The stuff that the insider local knowledge.
That's right.
And we got some data to share.
We do. We've got a full data session. So guys, we're going to be holding this up right here, and I'll be showing some of the differouses and the nuances.
Marlena and Kevin, what's up?
Yeah.
Brian Bolander.
That's right. We got good.
Man.
Brian Couts is with us as well. Brian is a Birminghamian as well. We're familiar with Barber. And guys, what's important to know is what we did this weekend, you can do at any track around the country, right? And I think the bottom line is don't be afraid to let someone else drive your car.
That's how you get fast.
Yeah, that's how you get fast.
Bolander, you're on here. If you know that, comment. Brian Bolander, I want you to comment on here.
Oh, throwing down the gauntlet. Guys, if you just joined us, let us know where you're watching from.
Bolander.
And where you're going to the track next. There's a little bit of a delay, so once you say it, it takes a little while. Guys, let us know where you're watching from, where you're going to the track next, to get some energy, some sharing, and some stuff going on here so we can get this in front of more people. That's how Facebook's algorithm puts us in front of more people. If people share it, hit like, they must like it, right? So it makes it easier to ask. So we got our data sessions here, and
let's back up on methodology.
Yeah.
Car 2016 BMW M4 dual clutch trans, 8200 series Coney double adjustables, which is their race shock, race spring rates, a fair amount of camber. We've discovered we need a little more, but a pretty aggressive camber for a street car, really. And R7s with about maybe 6 heat cycles or something
Hoosier
like that.
R7s, slicks, 295s on the rear.
275, 295, biggest tire we can get underneath there. Proper car setup for track. However, every track's different. this is your hometown. We got a new surface here, and the idea was to come down here, get to meet a lot of folks. This is for me. This is my effort, and to get Hot Dog in the car here on his home track and go beat on it and compare data and just learn. This is how you learn.
Yeah, I thought we learned a lot.
We did. We confirmed a lot of things, and we have some tweaks. So we're looking for small things.
And it rained all day Saturday. So
which is a blessing.
Yeah, which was a nice way
for your one students.
Yeah, I was in a 1986 911 on Saturday with a student, and taught the classroom. So we really got to emphasize, the smoothness and the delicacy that we have to have with some of the controls at times, because the rain amplifies that. But what we really got to talk about is everything you do in the wet, you do in the dry as well. You just do it more aggressively, a little quicker.
Track surface, wet.
Track surface is different, yeah. So if you haven't been to Barber yet, I know a lot of you guys on here. Ryan Hall also down here a lot. Ryan's from Connecticut, but he runs with a team, or is part of a team, partnered with a team that is based in Birmingham. And so they're at Barber all the time. And the track surface is new, repaved about a month ago. Totally different racetrack, totally different. There used to be 2 seams that ran the whole way around the track. That's gone. It's like
so those visual references for all you Mid-Ohio crazies, that center seam is gone. There's no on-surface any. Zilchnata.
Yeah.
Curbing?
The curbing's totally different. They got rid of all the old curbing. We used to have this gradual kind of angled curbing that would end up flat on the top, 2-part curbing everywhere, if you're familiar with Barber. And they had paint stripes on that raised part, or that angled part. Now it's just plain concrete.
It's concrete. There's a ton of grip in the wet.
Yeah, a ton of grip on the curves.
And it wasn't disruptive in the wet.
Did you drive offline at all Saturday, like a traditional rain line?
No, didn't need to.
No, there's no rubber down.
Actually, I was hunting for the curbs because they had more traction than the actual pavement. So I go power down. Yeah. I'd track out, get it there, have the car straight.
Because what happens? I've done this illustration on here before, but I just love doing this in the dry. Asphalt kind of has this tendency. So guys, when we look at this consistency right here, see the spikes? That's what asphalt looks like in the dry.
Like your hair.
Yeah, it looks like this. I didn't shower this morning. Got some spiky hair. The asphalt, basically the tire drives over this surface, and it creates grip by actually that kind of gradient sticking to the rubber and helping pull the tire, right? It's kind of got handles to grab onto. Well, in the wet, obviously on that type of surface, the water just falls down in here, right? So the water kind of sits.
How did you know this?
How do I know that? I'm just a really smart guy. So what happens?
I think he's making it up.
What happens at a track? Let's
unlike this, if you think he's making this up.
Making up all this. Well, tires also create grip with laminar grip, right? Which is like creating a glue to the surface.
I'm not very smart now.
Yeah, so there's 2 different ways the tires create grip. But then we've also got a track that's worn, so new track, new asphalt, worn track, Mid-Ohio on the dry line in the wet.
Mid-Ohio is like
looks
flat,
like that.
Polished.
So what happens is the water
nice with oil on it.
That's right. The water just sits level almost with the top of that gradient. So there's hardly any of that grip for the tire to connect itself to. Does that make sense?
Seriously, how do you know this? I don't know. Is this a Porsche thing?
No, this is just where did I learn this? It might have been Terry Yearwood at a skid park event.
He's good.
Yeah, but it's not something I thought about before. So the more granular surface, a newer poured surface that's not as worn in, doesn't have rubber that fills in those cracks, and it has the asphalt smoothed off. So the Barber basically.
I'm going to research this.
Yeah, go.
Not because I don't believe you.
Check me.
No, seriously.
Yeah,
this looks like great stuff.
It's super interesting. So at Barber, the granular part of the surface hasn't been worn down because there hasn't been enough people driving on it. The rubber hasn't been laid into those gaps, right? But the same reason that Mid-Ohio is slippery in the wet, this is Mid-Ohio, the same reason it's slippery in the wet is also what makes it grippy in the dry, because there's rubber down there. That rubber gets up to temperature, the track gets up to temperature, that laminar grip with the tire, the bond with the tire is created.
It's my favorite candle scent.
Yeah. Laminar. So laminar is like, if anybody on here is a pilot or an aerodynamicist, laminar airflow. Laminar airflow is airflow that sticks to a surface and follows a surface, right? So you can use laminar airflow on your car or your aircraft or whatever to create lift or drag. Or laminar airflow is when air sticks to a surface, follows a surface. There's usually a low pressure area nearby. I digress. But Barber still has that granular asphalt. So the water sits down in those grains and your tire can still grip the asphalt, which is essential in the wet because there's no track temperature, right? No track temperature. You're driving tires that don't
So a
rely
rain
as much
tire
on-
they get burnt up, right? They start
That's right.
blistering.
because they're soft. They want to, and that's why rain tire compounds are softer, because softer tires are going to stick easier to that less edgy asphalt that's been worn down. But all that to say, Barber basically drove similarly as it does in the dry and the wet.
So came down here, everybody got to drive in a non-rain line new pavement track, including myself. So I had 3 sessions, I think, with Porsche Club, Alabama Porsche Club.
Yep.
Good folks. I'm about the 4 BMWs and 500 Porsches kind of deal.
Yeah.
And got to know and understand the track with the understanding that Sunday was going to be nice and you and I were going to share the car for the purposes of, hey, what do you think? How do we tweak it? We're going to compare data. We're going to do this right here. And here are the findings, right?
That's right.
And go like this.
So we both did 2
Cool stuff.
sessions in the car on Sunday. You want to give them the lap time
Hey, Ryan.
results here? Yep, Ryan Burkett's on there. You want to give the lap
With his
time
new,
results?
hey, Ryan, show pictures of your new insulated garage.
Nice.
Andrew is right. Cornham has a
Reading some comments right now.
Michael Trask, what's up?
Michael Trask,
SCCA,
that's right.
SCCA National Championship finisher.
Yeah.
Mike T,
Bring it
Apex
on.
Pro user.
So we're looking at the data right now.
Let's go to our methodology. So Apex Pro level right here, right on the middle of the dash.
Yep.
Totally where it needs to be.
We've got some video, but we can share that too.
Powered by USB, so it doesn't run out, right? Hot ticket.
We plug that in later in the afternoon.
A longer cord to have to worry about anything. iPhone on a charger, right? And stuck it in the glove box because you do not need this, right?
Yeah, you don't have to have your iPhone present in front of you. Yeah, put it in the glove box.
Start,
Good to go.
stored away.
Yep. Good
So
to
that
go.
was our strategy. Did that as soon as the car rolled, so it's running. And we got a bunch of laps together. We had a transmission overheating issue that restricted us for getting more laps. So we got a couple good laps, and we picked our best 2. And the purpose of this is not to say who's on pole or anything, but it's rather to compare, show you how to compare, where to look. Fair statement?
Yeah. And
What you
for
got?
me, I'm driving Eric's car that he has to drive home, so I didn't want to push it too far. But I think we both learned a lot. So we're looking at our speed trace right now and just overlaying our 2 fast laps. Eric's fastest was a 1:38.32 with a 75% Apex score. My best lap was a 1:38.90 according to the Apex data with a 78% Apex score.
Stop. So how do you get a higher Apex score and I get you by a couple tenths? How does that work?
I think it's because I roll out of the brake sooner and I'm potentially, well, I don't know. You're using a little more lateral grip there.
We show people what we're looking
I
at.
think what it is, you
Yeah.
mentioned this, we were talking earlier. I think it's probably because at the places where the car compresses, I'm more comfortable letting that compression happen, which creates a lot of G and uses a lot of the grip. So the exit at turn 1, the base at turn 12.
And I wouldn't have
the
that
hill at turn
value
7.
there, would I? And you would.
Because I'm so comfortable with the
Wow.
topography of the track, when I chuck it into a corner, I'm
Let's
kind of.
let's point and let's show them.
You want to talk about turn 1, maybe?
Nope. Let's do a 3,000-foot
Okay.
view for everybody to know what the heck's going on here, right?
There you go. I'll let you position it. All right, we're looking at Barber Motorsports Park. We got
This
our
will be
GPS
fun.
satellite image on the top.
I'm gonna try to do this backwards. I can't do it backwards.
It's hard to do.
I'll do it this way. I'll
There you
hold
go.
it. You walk around on the other side of the camera.
All right, there we go.
Does that work? This is technology at its finest.
That's right. It is really working. So one of the biggest differences when we look at lap time are going to be,
Let's assume you've never been to Barber.
okay,
Yeah.
turn 5 right here in the middle of the track. We have turn 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's your hardest braking zone on the track, only threshold braking zone on the track. And what happens here when we're looking at the speed trace, Eric is blue, Andrew is red. I'm braking slightly earlier than Eric, probably 20 to 40 feet if we were to dig in and really look at it. Eric's brake application is a little softer initially. Mine's really hard.
Yep.
And I roll out of the brake pedal sooner. and have a much higher minimum corner speed. Eric's about 39
Shut up.
miles an hour.
This just crap's wrong. These batteries are wrong.
Your lap was half a second faster, so it's not too bad. But you're 39 miles an hour min speed. We'll look at it exactly. New Apex Pro iPad app feature. We can see both at the same time. I lied, 37 miles per hour. Andrew's at, let's see.
Couple two more, I'm guessing.
Yeah, about 42.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's
it was a pretty big
5.
spread. It was 5 miles an hour different. That's right here at turn 5. I got on the power a lot sooner, and therefore my VMAX down the next straightaway is a lot higher. But then I brake sooner. So
Okay, easy. VMAX.
maximum speed, highest speed. The fastest point on the straightaway where I'm carrying the most speed here is higher than yours by about a mile an hour. But you braked later. And again, a slightly softer initial application, but you rolled more speed overall through this part of the track, turn 7.
You want to point to the speed graph and show that?
Right here, you can see Eric's speed trace is slightly above mine, very minimally.
Almost parallel. Yours might be a little steeper in the red. Mine's just a little later.
Yep.
So you can literally say there's a little bit of gain there, and it all nets out.
Slightly here. But then at the bottom of the hill, we both get to the same minimum speed, and we accelerate at essentially the same
Would you change that right there to the delta?
Yeah, gain loss.
Yep.
So this is the gain loss channel.
Oh shoot, that's hard to see, isn't it?
Is it hard to see? The color doesn't quite work.
So let's see if we can change it a little bit and move
We
it.
can change the color.
There we go. No. Nah.
We don't
There's
have
a
to do
programmer.
gain loss.
Okay.
We can just summarize.
If you can see that, that's great.
The biggest difference in time on the lap was that Eric braked later into 5, but it almost all netted.
So when that goes up and down is what you're looking at.
Yep. So the trace here on gain loss, when this graph goes up, that means the blue lap, Eric's lap, lap 7 up here, was gaining time over my red lap. So we see the red and the blue dots, my red lap's down here. So anywhere this is trending up and to the right, that means Eric's lap is faster. Anywhere it's going down and to the right, that means my lap is faster. So this is the exit of turn 5, where we see the cars. I'm going to slide the cars back on the track to turn 5. Let's see.
Remember, this whole thing is what, half a second delta?
Yep, half a second delta, so pretty minimal. Really close delta. And
So
I'm gaining on you out of the turn.
See that real peak right there? Will you go for that? Yep. That is a one single corner event because it's not very wide, right? That is up and down, right? I'm doing this backwards, right? Help me out, Rains. Right
here?
There, yes. Versus the other one to the side, a little farther down the track was this slow difference.
Right here?
Yep. That's a run.
Yep.
Right? And the previous one, the spike, is an event.
Yep.
You want to talk about that a little bit so people see that?
Absolutely. That's a good way to do it. So that's going to be kind of an anomaly to some extent, right? That's going to be a huge difference that we need to look at. What the big difference is here is that Eric braked a lot later.
And then so it looks like I gained a lot of time, right?
But you didn't.
But I didn't because I lost it back, you bastard.
You gained, let's call it net, and it ended up gaining you a little bit of time, certainly. But by the time I caught you back, if we go all the way fast forward to the point where we're at, let's see, the apex of track 12, I've gained a lot of that time back. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this the wrong way. You gain time right here, and from this point to this point at the bottom of the hill right here, we went from Eric being plus a second to me being plus a tenth of a second.
Look at that. Can you point to that corner right there?
Right here.
Yep. And that is some great local knowledge. Guys, I would say that would be like madness or like turn 1 at Road Atlanta, right? Or probably hog pin at VIR. Somebody, they have some local knowledge to attack something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So I could have gained a lot of time by being later on the brakes into 5, but my exit out of turn 5 was so much better that I gained all the time that I'd lost to you back. I wasn't quite challenging the brakes on the car as much as I should have been. Admittedly, I really should have attacked the brake pedal more and gotten comfortable with it.
You go to ladder long on here?
Yeah, we can go to, what would you like to look at?
First one you get to. There we go.
Oh, you want to go back to lateral?
Okay.
So you pointed out that the consistency.
You do that even closer,
They're
right?
super similar. If you look at all of our peak lateral G's, they're happening at almost the same place on the track, and they're almost the same value. And it's very similar with long. We can see some more actual differences with long, but what I think is interesting with lateral G is we can tell where we're turning in different places. So if we go back here, we're looking at Eric is the blue, Andrew is the red. All right, for turn 5, because my lateral G builds sooner, I'm adding steering input sooner. Actually,
Say that another way, really slow, and show them where you're at on track.
Yeah, I turn in earlier. Right here. Right there, I'm turning in slightly earlier. And my peak gets to the same point, but I'm starting to straighten the car.
Dude, he's money through there. He's off the brakes so gently.
And that gentle brake release is why I'm able to turn in early, but it doesn't. So I know all of you, if you're hearing me right now and you're going, dude, you're turning in early, but you're beating him on the exit. What? Right? Is that what you're hearing, Eric? I turned in earlier, but I got on the power sooner. Right?
Look at all those green lights you got too. Oh, that might be for something else, isn't it?
That's for you.
Oh, will you say that again? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Could you say that again? I didn't hear that.
All green lights are for Eric. The all green lights are for Eric. Except for right here in the middle of the corner. That's where you're delaying to get on the throttle. You see the red lights?
Yeah, I think the batteries are low.
Is everybody hearing this? Yeah, I think that was interesting. Let's not go. Let's not
do a long one
out there.
A long one would reflect braking points, real easy to see.
So we're still.
This is the main difference of our driving styles.
We're still looking at this turn 5 event first, but then I'll show you guys what's.
I'm going to hold that up a little closer up there. There you go.
Okay, good. So the event we're looking at here is Andrew's the red, Eric's the blue. Andrew's on the brake sooner. Eric's
more
on the
authority.
Brake with more authority. Yep. Eric has this little dip and
it's called
then
pussy
a hard
braking.
brake.
I said it.
A little bit. And then what happens here, close to the turn in, Eric actually squeezes a little more brake pedal.
Failure.
Which that extra longitudinal deceleration that he has that late in the corner affects his ability to get back to power.
So in all fairness, and this isn't a driver excuse maker, if we were doing this and we didn't, I would go and see if that's my consistency. And I would say, I got a problem. Mm-hmm. If that was this one particular event, I'm like, man, I screwed it up that particular time because I only got 30 laps here. Right? You follow me?
Yep, absolutely.
But chances are I'm probably doing that because there's other areas on the track that reflect this tendency.
Here. So if we look
I'm looking for tendencies.
Every negative G spike, we see a red G spike before the blue G spike. It's before it every time. Sometimes only marginally, sometimes a decent amount. What that tells you is that I slow the car down a little bit sooner.
And you can feel it. 50, we could probably drill down and actually see.
Feet. Yeah, we can. If we go into here. We'll call it 25 to 50 feet sooner almost everywhere.
And you can feel it. And I know he's doing it because you could just feel it.
And a lot of it has to do with I'm leaving a little bit on the table in my brake zone, but my goal is to roll corner speed by balancing the chassis. And Eric's challenging the brake pedal and releasing the brake pedal later in the corner than I am. And I think a lot of that's because he's more comfortable with keeping the tire on the edge for longer. And I'm trying to kind of float corner speed. But what's interesting is that we got to a really, really similar lap time and really similar sessions dealing with car issues with very different braking tendencies.
You want to go back to MPH?
Sure.
So all of what we just said should be visible in here. He's braking earlier and smoother. The slope of some of these is, oh man, they're pretty close in slope. He's just have can you see a more stable chassis here? Because when I'm riding right seat, we had 2 seats in the car.
Yep.
When I'm riding right seat, your platform is so much more stable. I'm entering up until your settling moment off brakes is earlier than mine and maybe 1 mile an hour faster, but I'm going a little deeper, an extra little bit, but I'm not entering as settled as you. Fair?
I think that the big difference that I see is that from the time I'm releasing.
Look at that big one, right? I can't point. What's that one, right? There. Nope. There.
Yep.
What's that, dude?
That's a big one. That's going to be turn 12. the end of the back straightaway.
That's where you're cheating.
So I slow a lot sooner than you do, but I'm aiming to get up.
To show people that, exactly that.
Yeah. So the red line is me. It starts down sooner. Eric, it actually carries in a decent amount more cornering speed. Your entry speed is higher here, and then at the apex of 12, you're going a little bit faster than I am. Call that the apex of 12. There's about a 3 mile an hour speed difference there. But then I'm applying the brakes a touch right here. Eric's slowing the car, but not quite hopping on the brakes at the same place that I am, and I'm getting on the gas sooner because I kind of tucked the nose, and I added a lot more steering here as well and got on the power really hard to use the compression and the track, whereas Eric wasn't quite taking advantage of that compression. So I pulled. That's where we see that big gap.
Look at that monster gap.
And the reason that gap's so big, we're both at wide open throttle, but Eric got the wide open throttle at the steeper point on this hill right here. This is a steep hill. That's why his curve doesn't start up as straight. I guarantee he was at wide open throttle, and so was I. But he had to climb a hill. And since I was on the power before,
did you literally get a downhill?
So I'm on the gas pedal at the base of the hill. Yeah.
Going downhill?
Just right at the bottom of the hill,
okay.
Probably. Close to going downhill. So I'm kind of getting a run there.
Does anybody notice when we're comparing this, we're not ragging each other? We're like collectively trying to figure out how to go better.
Yeah.
How to go faster, rather.
Well, we have an understanding.
My arm's getting tired, by the way.
Yeah. We're having an understanding. We have an understanding that the ultimate lap time is not really purely representative of the absolute ragged edge.
This wasn't,
lap time of the car.
We were both pushing it hard enough to say we're pushing it hard enough to get feedback to go, okay, the tires are howling here.
Right. We could have easily been lap time wise the other way around, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
So that
and both faster if we were pushing it a little more risky using our track.
Yeah. If you didn't have to drive it home tomorrow. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Need more camber. And the way we came up with that was pulling the tire. We didn't have a tire parameter. Fail. Here. It's at home.
Check out some of these comments.
Oh, are they bad?
Ryan says we need a weekly comedy skit show. I'm down with that. I think that'd be fun. I always wanted to be a stand-up comic.
Ryan, I'm pretty sure we got to take your car through tech at NCM because there's something not right with it. I think something's the matter with it.
So here's the big question, though. So at the end of the
day,
legal. Who would be more likely?
He cheats a whole lot.
Yeah,
he's a total cheater.
He's real cheaty. That Miata has a ton of horsepower. Yeah. He at the end of the day, who would be more likely to change their line through turn 5 to maximize lap time?
I would, hands down.
I like what I'm doing through there.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I'd change it.
Super smooth.
That much.
Yep. Super smooth.
I would brake later.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
I'd brake
later. If you look at Ryan, if you look at his, we could show that again. Actually, it's going to be your long G trace coming off of that, right? And how it's butter smooth. I believe that'll show that, correct?
Turn 5?
Yeah. Ryan and everybody, I learned a ton. This is a home track. He's super smooth. Super, super, super smooth. I'll get there, but he's like, you do this here, you do this here, you do this here.
Here's the question. Do you think I produced a lap time with less drama? Like at any point on the fast lap, are you like,
oh, you like drama queen, bitch?
No, you just charge the corner a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. So really what this is, and if you saw the data, is since Andrew is braking earlier and coming off more gently, but with 1 more mile an hour, that car is very stable going in, which means all 4 right here, all 4 of those tires are going, I can do this. I'm asking more of the tires. You'd catch me at the end of the race because my tires would be wore out. You are a much better maintainer. Does that reflect in your racing style by chance?
Probably so. I'm a little more conservative than I like up front at the beginning of the race. I want to be a more aggressive driver, but my natural style is.
You pass him in the last third of the race.
I let the car come to me. I let it come to me, and I tend to be a tire conservator. I don't know if the guys.
That reflects in the data.
I think so. I guess. Yeah. We're trying to be objective about it. I don't care who's faster.
It's not. Which goes back to, here's what you got to do. Get somebody else in your car. Ask them to go beat your lap time. Ask them to smoke your lap time. Do it blind. Don't lead them. Don't stack the deck. Frickin' stuff. Some stuff something in the intake, right? Or deflate the tires. Yeah. You want that data.
Even if you know a good driver and they're not that comfortable in your car, but they know the track well, or vice versa, they don't have to go 2 seconds faster than you, or even a tenth faster than you to give you good data to go off of. They could be a second slower than you. But what you're looking for is those trends. Because what you might identify, and I think what we both identified, is Eric's lap time was a good bit quicker than mine. But we started to look at the data and we're going, okay, well, who's got a better foundation to build more lap time off of? Eric might only be able to go 2 or 3 tenths quicker first before he's got to start doing some of the stuff that I was doing in order to go faster. Whereas I might be able to build more on that platform, if that makes sense. Marlon asked if we're doing this at NCM. I don't even know which way to go at NCM, so maybe not. But
yes, Marlena. Hello to Lori.
The data, Eric and Andrew Data for Dummies show.
Bo Adams building the race car.
That's
coming
right.
Down to NCM, right, Bo?
There's Lita Waller Rains. She's on there.
Oh.
Eric got to hang out with her Saturday night, and me as well.
We drank some wine and some tequila and ate good food.
Come
to Birmingham. They have great food.
Great food in Birmingham. Speaking of, I probably got to go because we're taking my grandmother out for dinner tonight. So I need to roll and do that.
Bottom line, test, have somebody jump in your car. I know the Thunder Roadsters do that. If you're looking on here, that would be Brian Bolander. If he's still on here somewhere, buried on that bad boy. Just everybody, dude. This is how you get better. It's a big jump for a lot of people. What if they wreck my car? Well, probably asking the wrong guy to do it if you're even thinking that.
I would agree with that. I think competent drivers know what their limits are, and if they do that and they can avoid letting just the fact they're driving someone else's car get ahead of them.
Most all organizations will let you do that as long as you're a registered participant. You can't come out and not pay. You're not covered under liability.
Yeah.
Almost everybody would endorse this. You just go have fun.
And I'd recommend it's somebody that you know and you're able to have candidly open conversation with them, and you're not overly concerned about being the faster driver.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we're all trying to learn. Even if you are faster than them, you can find something. I guarantee you there's a place in the speed race.
I want to come back here. I want to come back here and do this again.
All right.
More camber.
Well, more camber. That's right. That's the end result. We're going to tie it up. Guys, if you're interested in having this experience for yourself, we're happy to take a look at 2 different data sessions, you and a friend, and I'll do the analysis for you. We can do a remote analysis. I know Ryan, Gareth, a couple of you guys have paid the $99 data analysis session. I'll let you tell people if you think it was valuable or not, but I had a lot of fun, and I think it was a good thing to do. We'll see some of you at NCM. Looking forward to it. ApexTrackCoach.com. Check it out. I like that. That little
steering wheel.
Steering wheel.
Mini.
That's right. Tiny steering wheel. We may or may not have recorded some stuff with these boom mics today. So if you guys want some more of this dynamic right here, whatever this is, that's this smell that's filling the room right now, it's delicious. Might be a little bit of shake.
I think it's laminar.
And is it laminar?
Yeah, it's laminar.
Going for shake and bake.
I don't know that one.
Keep your eyes peeled for some driving related content soon.
See you at the banquet, guys.
See you at NCM.